Welcome to episode 7 of the Learn to Rap series. We're getting really close to the end now, and today we're working on the Fender. The panel is prepped and ready to go. It's cleaned, it's taped off, and I've shown how to do that in previous videos. I'm not going to show it again, so if you missed it, you're going to have to go back in this video series and watch how to do that. But there's two things I want to draw your attention to. The first is this wheel cover right here. Now, this is not mandatory, but I like to use it because all in the grooves of the tire, dust, rocks, gravel, dirt, all that stuff gets stuck in it, and then the static from the vinyl can pull it out and cause contamination under your wrap. That will obviously look terrible, so if you have something to cover your wheels, I highly recommend that you do. The second thing is under the hood. Now here you can see I put knifeless tape all along this side of the fender. I've done that because when you close the hood, like this, you can still see some silver in there because that part of the fender sticks out a bit. When you're trimming the vinyl, if you just put your blade here in this gap and cut, you wouldn't get enough excess vinyl to then tuck it in and cover that silver in there. So by putting the knifeless tape, it allows us to get more coverage, and it's also much easier to get a nice straight line than by doing that freehand when the hood's open. Now that the fender's set up, let's wrap it. I got some heat for saying this in a previous video, but I think the Fender is the easiest panel to wrap on a car. It's small, it's easy to cut out, and if you're a beginner, I think it's a great place to start. Like every panel, unroll the vinyl in one smooth motion, then glass out the panel by grabbing the top and bottom edge of the vinyl, pulling your hands apart, and then pulling towards you. This may take a few tries to get it right, especially if it's your first time. Once you're happy with how your vinyl is set up, it's time to lay it down. Like the door, start in the middle and work your way out. On a fender that's curved like this one, it may be difficult to use a squeegee, so don't be afraid to use your glove. Contrary to the door, I like to work the fender downwards first, then save the top for the end. This is because the hood needs to be opened in order to lay the vinyl on top of our knifeless tape. Again, read the wrinkles and work the vinyl back and forth until you reach the edge. You may need a relief cut around the A-pillar to relax the vinyl, and if you'll notice, I have not touched my heat gun once while applying this vinyl. If you have a good setup, you won't need to heat and fight the vinyl, which will make the experience so much more enjoyable. That's it, the vinyl is already laid down. With setting up the camera, moving it around, trying to get good shots, unrolling the vinyl, then actually laying it down, that took 7 minutes. That's it. That's why I say the Fender is by far the easiest panel to do, and why I recommend that if you're a beginner who's never wrapped anything, you try and wrap a Fender because they're very straightforward. You don't have to cut out any door handles. There's no disassembly. They're just really easy to do. Now, it may have took 7 minutes to put the vinyl down, but it's going to take much longer to cut it out. That's where I personally lose all my time, but let's see how long it takes. Even though I didn't use heat to stretch the vinyl, it's important to use some heat and relax the vinyl before cutting because the vinyl has some natural tension in it from the manufacturing process. This little bit of heating and relaxing reduces the risk of the vinyl pulling back later. Then, simply use the cutting techniques I mentioned earlier and trim out the panel. To get the corner right, heat the vinyl, stretch it around the corner, and hook it underneath. Heat the vinyl again to relax it, and it will hug the corner, pulling underneath it and locking it into place. Then trim away the excess and you will have a professional looking corner. The last step is to pull the knifeless tape we laid at the beginning. And just like that, we have a nice straight line. But more importantly, no paint will be showing through the gap between the hood and the fender. There is the finished product, and yeah, looks way better than before. But as predicted, it took me way longer to cut it out than to lay down the vinyl. Just over 30 minutes actually, which I know, it's like, how does it take that long to cut it out? But yeah, I'm just really slow at that. So don't feel bad if you think it takes you a long time to cut it out, because I'm right there with you. But that's it, we're done the fender. All that's left is the roof and the trunk, and we're gonna tackle those in the last 2 episodes. So I'll see you there, and as always, thanks for watching.